Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you, JT. Appreciate that. When I was growing up, there was one man who seemed larger than life. He stood taller than the rest, like a giant in my eyes. That man was my grandpa, Donald Van Phillips, better known to his 6 grandkids as Papa Duck. To me, Papa Duck was a cowboy. Maybe because every time we visited him, there was an old Western playing on the TV. He was a superhero, the kind who could climb any mountain and swim any stream. He was a businessman making tough financial decisions just to keep things going. And somehow, he was both a mechanic and a carpenter who was able to fix just about anything that broke. Do you know somebody like that? You might be wondering, Jack, how could one man possibly be all of these things? It's a good question. It's because my Papa Duck was a farmer. He farmed a couple hundred acres just about 20 minutes away from here in Ray, Georgia. And it actually started with his dad, DB, who I never met but definitely got my height from. DB started farming tobacco, so when Papa Duck graduated from high school, he knew exactly what he was going to spend the rest of his life doing. Exactly what his dad did. Now, my papa was about as southern as a man could be. I mean, he had a horse named Redman and a dog named Dixie. And when he passed away in 2013, when I was only 8 years old, I vividly remember what happened. We were at the beach. Mom got a call. He was about to pass away, and so she left early. When we got to the hospital, we were there to say goodbye. There were a lot of people. I mean, it was abnormal to 8-year-old Jack, but even as a little kid who lived in the subdivision of Green Tree Lakes, I could tell, sitting in the hospital, looking at all those people, that Papa Duck was a part of something huge. Some sort of fraternity or family or way of life that connected him strongly to a community of people. He was a farmer. And although 8-year-old Jack could understand, and 8-year-old Jack could understand that farmers were a really tight-knit group of people, I didn't understand why they were until much later. When I was in 6th grade, Michael Berry recruited me to show a goat and take an ag class. I had the choice to join an organization called FFA. I would later come to learn that this would be one of the most important decisions I would ever make. Not just because FFA taught me some of the most important life lessons about failing with joy and humbling myself in the pursuit of serving others and building relationships and working hard, but FFA taught me a lot about Papa Duck's lifelong passion, farming. In the classroom, as I learned and was quizzed on agriculture by Mr. Highsmith right there. And in the barn, as I raised pigs and goats, and in the Blue Jacket, as I learned how to give speeches about ag issues, I felt this growing understanding of what Papa Duck's life was all about. As I went to high school and continued to dive deeper into my ag education, I felt stirring within me my own passion for agriculture, and my network began to grow as I connected with people from across the state who were living and working in agriculture. And I gained mentors and was given role models of incredible people who I could follow and become more like. And because of ag education, I gained a community of people, a passion for the industry, and a career path. All of a sudden, I knew I wanted to work in ag in some way, shape, or form. And this was crazy because I didn't grow up on a farm. I was in some way separated from agriculture. But because I joined that ag class, because of my education, my eyes were opened to this whole new world. So picture this. It's my senior year of high school, about a month before I graduate, and my Aunt Lee calls me and says, "I've got something for you." She drives over to our house and is holding in her hands an old jacket. She said she wants me to hold on to it, and as I take that old jacket from my Aunt Lee's hands and I hold it, I can tell that it's an old FFA jacket. And by this point, it's a little torn, a little purple, a little faded. And I look at that jacket, and I read the name on the top right hand side. It says Donald Phillips. It's my grandpa's old FFA jacket. I had no idea he was even in FFA. And I didn't know that he was a member of the same chapter that I was, the same chapter that's here today. Something clicked for me in that moment as I held Papa Duck's old FFA jacket. And in some ways, I was transported back to that hospital as an 8-year-old kid. And I could visually remember looking around and seeing all those people. And find that it was abnormal, the amount of people filling the halls of the hospital, all there just to try and say goodbye to Papa Duck. Donald Van Phillips, the tobacco farmer, and Jack Lingenfelter, 2 generations removed from a farm, were a part of the same community. We were both a part of the agriculture community. While I don't plan to spend the rest of my life in a tobacco field, I hold in my heart the same passion that Papa Duck did when he was here on earth. We will have both spent our lives fighting for the same thing. And all of a sudden, I knew exactly why farming brought together all these people to see Papa Duck. Feeding, fueling, clothing the world, that's an incredible, purpose-filled pursuit. And what helped me see this? What was the medium in which I was able to make this agriculture connection with my grandfather all these years later? Being recruited to show a goat by Michael Berry as a 6th grader. Ag education. The reason why we're all here today. Without ag ed, I would have probably never even thought about pursuing a career in agriculture. So why do I share this today? I don't think I have to convince anyone here today that agriculture is important. I think we know that really well. I mean, as I look around, I see a group of people who are passionate about our industry and about our way of life. You all are the community that I saw show up for Papa Duck in the hospital. But the message that I want to leave with you today is that through ag education, anyone can be a part of agriculture. I've seen it. I've lived it. I'm the kid who grew up in Green Tree Lake subdivision, 2 generations separated from the farm, who now wants to spend the rest of his life fighting for farmers because of a 6th grade ag class. So I'll say again, anyone can be a part of agriculture through ag education. That's our mission today. We can have a lot of pride knowing that Georgia is leading the way in ag education from elementary school all the way to the graduate level, but we should never stay comfortable here. There is a lot of work to do. Today's an exciting day as South Georgia opens a door for more students to study and work in agriculture. We are telling the story that South Georgia is committed to creating opportunities for more students to choose agriculture. But telling our story is only the first step. The next step, as we leave here today, the next step is recruitment. We need every student, from the farms, the country, the city, the neighborhood. We need the kid who plans to take over the family operation and the kid who is 2, 3, 4, 5 generations removed from the farm. How can we as a community, as a state, as a college, raise up, equip, train, mentor, grow the next generation of farm families, of cattlemen and women, of ranchers, of ag researchers, food scientists, large animal veterinarians, ag bankers, loan officers, teachers, professors, extension agents, ag policy makers to pass a farm bill, fluent communicators, sales rep, advertisers, marketers to sell our products, trade reps to send them out, engineers to make our farming equipment faster, smarter, more efficient, and more affordable, and resilient farmers like Papa Duck who are ready to fight for a future. And when I think about Papa Duck now, the legacy that he left, I think of that old speech written by Paul Harvey delivered to the FFA in 1978. He said it had to be somebody who plowed deep and straight and not cut corners, somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant, and tie the fleece and train the milk and replenish the self-feeder and finish a hard week's work with a 5-mile drive to church. Somebody who would bail a family together with the soft, strong bonds of sharing, who would laugh and sigh, and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says that he wants to spend his life doing what Dad does. So God made a farmer. The mission posed before us now, should we choose to accept, is to lead, convince, and recruit students to study and work in agriculture because we need the best and the brightest, hardworking young people. We have problems to solve, businesses to lead, and mouths to feed. So here's the question. Will you choose to accept that mission? Thank you all so much.